I am Ann-Peggy Divine. Welcome to the Divine Design, the podcast where we unfold heaven on earth and reframe spirituality and theology for a new cosmic era. Your journey on human evolution and integration of your divine design starts here. Now, before you jump into this episode, if this conversation resonates with you, please like, subscribe, and share this with whoever you feel that needs to hear it. Together, your support helps us sustain this work, bringing transformational wisdom into the world and nurturing the awakening of our shared foundation, Mother Earth. Thank you very much. Welcome, Brett Robey, to this Divine Design podcast.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, it's an honor to meeting you, and I don't know so much about you. We just chatted for a minute, and then you said, I'm an open book, and I thought, thank you. You just invited kind of the open book conversation. I love it.
Yeah, that's it.
And what is fascinating, you say that you are homeschooling you have 4 children and you homeschool them. Can you start to say something about that, where you are in the world and why you are homeschooling them? And yeah.
So I'm in Perth, Australia, and it's sort of like 3 years ago, we were living in the UK and we were homeschooling the kids when we were traveling. Actually went to Norway and we did a bit of skiing there and stuff like that, which was really beautiful. Loved it. Beautiful country. We'll come back sometime. But you came to Australia, 3 years ago, and the kids went into general public school. I wanted to homeschool, but also trying to work and balance life, just sort of school was the option when I came back. And anyway, I was away earlier on in the year, and when school started, and my ex-wife, she decided not to put the kids into school and she started homeschooling. And when I got back from overseas, I picked up the role. So we're separated, but we do a bit of time each. So she's, sometimes the kids are here, sometimes they're there, and we're doing the homeschooling. So yeah, and it's nice. Like at first, I was thrown in the deep end to start with. I was like, oh shit! I didn't expect that I was going to be homeschooling. I'm planning my business, all this life, and then this, and I'm thinking, oh, how's this going to work? And then we started. And it just started to pick up, and I built a really strong relationship with my children. And I came back from South America and they're talking Spanish there. And I wanted to learn Spanish. I didn't. I felt a bit ignorant going over there, not knowing much. And so we started to learn Spanish. And first I thought, oh, well, yeah, so my kids there's Billy, Ted, Robin, and Bobby. And Billy's 10, Ted's 9, Robin's 7, and Bobby's only 3. And we're all doing it, at our different levels. And at first it was like, all right, we'll just learn some basic words. And so we learned 6 words. I thought that's enough for the week, for a week, we'll get these and start to see how we go. Then all of a sudden the kids are loving it. And so we're just learning more and more and more. It's gone from 6 to 30 words to 50 words to 100 words in a couple of weeks. Then we started to discover some patterns, and we started to learn all sorts. So in about 2.5, 3 weeks, we had about 400 words. We're talking it around the house, and we're just it was really beautiful. And just a fascinating experience, the learning experience, it was, we were just enjoying the process and doing it and living it. And all of a sudden, all this fascinating learning comes online without having to have this strict curriculum, really. And there's other stuff that we're doing in the meantime, but that's what sparked it, and we started to do that and other stuff, of course. But it's been a really beautiful experience, and they're teaching me as much as I'm really more than I'm teaching them, and life's teaching us all. So it's just an incredible experience, but it's a juggle. All right. So I'm busy with work as well. I mean, they're down there now doing what they're doing, and I'm here on the call with you. So it's like it's a juggle, which is at first I thought, oh, I'm just not going to be able to do it. But when it just started to happen, I was like, all right, well, how do we make this work? And it's a juggle. Sometimes it's a bit of an emotional roller coaster, but it's still beautiful and it's working. So yeah, that's the homeschooling so far. Yeah, and
Wow.
it's only yeah, sorry.
No, sorry, but
I
continue.
only been since the start of this year. Yeah.
I'm fascinated about your story, and I have written a lot of books, as I just mentioned, and one of the book is called the Sister Book, and the Sister Book is how do we do it differently, and one of the chapter actually talk about that we learn just as much from our kids that we think that we are supposed to learn to them. So it's kind of because all kids all are we born with a gift. We have something in us. So it is kind of not if we like we have done in the old school system is to push the children into the school system. They have to learn something. All is supposed to learn the same. But if we watch each and every one, we have a uniqueness. We have a gift that is special. So doing homeschool, then we are more. I think it can be easier to see the uniqueness with each soul doing homeschool.
Yep. Yep. I definitely I see because the boundaries aren't there. Like kids are just open. They're learning at a rapid rate, and
Yes.
they're connecting to what I call the wow. The wow. That's like little Bobby. My little Bobby. He lives there. Like that's he'll be pointing to me. Like I'll be driving along and points out the window, and he's like, Dad, look, 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 wow. And I look around and then get home, and he's pointing to the rainbow, and he's like, oh wow. And I look up and I sort of connect there as well. I'm like, oh, yeah, wow. And he goes out the back and he's pointing at something. I don't even realize what it is. And I'm like, what are you looking at? And he's just there and he's like, wow, just little things. And it's that wow where we create from, like anyone creates from. And it's so like a philosophy of mine and what I speak about is that wow, because it's like when we start with wow, there's a different why, what, and how. Like something else comes from that space, and kids just tune into it. They start there, and that's what we, as adults, after being in the school system, after being conditioned, after going through all this, we have to learn to reconnect to the wow, which is who and what we are and where we come from. So yeah, like witnessing that in my kids brings that out in me. It allows me to start there more often, and it's beautiful.
Just you talking about it, I felt it. I took it in completely, and I talk about it, but I don't talk about it as wow. I talk about it as, what is the word? In awe. To being in awe. It's like ah. Yeah, in awe. But that's another aspect of being in awe because I love being in awe because that is also my wondering part. Like, oh, wow, wow, ah. It's like, yeah, just because you are in the here and now and you are fascinated. And what I do every day, I go to mountain and are in nature. And every day I film nature. I see so much, wow, wow. Yesterday I was in nature and I saw something that I never have seen and it was like something yellow and it was like eggs, thousands of eggs inside something. It's like, and I don't know if it's flea, if it's insect, but I film it and I have a lot of film of this yellow stuff with a lot of, because it's an insect inside it. So it is, but it's the first time I see it like that. So I haven't shown it to anyone, but I experience and see different thing in nature every day. So I'm like a child. I love being a child. Wow, what is this? Wow, it's like your son. I love it. It's music.
Wow. Yeah, yeah. And then that spark that the kids have like that allows us to tune into it more.
Yeah,
Like because and nature, of course, like we're the same. I'm out here. We live out in nature. Like we got out in the bush here in Australia, kangaroos in the backyard, go for bushwalks all the time, every day. And that's where we do our teaching. That's where we learn.
yeah,
And the kids like they might be getting a bit agitated inside or whatever it is, and then we get out and all of a sudden they come alive, and they're just exploring in nature. Like dad on board, to start with, they're on board, and then in nature it's just like everything. They're just fascinated by it, and they come alive, and it's beautiful. We are nature. We forget. Like that's the thing.
Yeah.
Like we are that, and we become so disconnected that we forget about it. When we get back out in it, and then start to connect more to that. Wow,
Yeah.
we just start to be there. Yeah, it's like beautiful.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love it. Can you tell me a little bit more about the process of, okay, we will homeschool, how you went to do it? Because it is so easy to think, oh, we have to send our kids to the public school. So how do you start this process? Is it hard or?
Like the process with the school, or like in
Yeah, because
regards to.
can every parent say that we want to homeschool our kids? Because I know that it's strict in Norway, but I don't know if it how it functions in
Yeah.
other countries.
Well, it's different in different countries. Here
Yeah.
in Australia, I think it was more strict. And now you can apply for it. And I've applied for it and still going through the process of it. But in the process, but while I'm going through that, I'm doing it. So yeah. So
Yeah, but
yeah,
do you have to go to school? Do you have to type? Is it someone following up you as a parent?
someone will come out and they'll check what's going on, and then there's still a curriculum that you have to follow in some way to and put certain things in and do that sort of thing. But you've still got your own freedom as well. Yeah. Yeah.
And if you want kind of more kids that they want to play with, because if it's only one or two, it can be kind of we want sometimes it's good to have bigger group with kids. How do you, because you have 4 kids, but how is it
Yeah.
with other kids kind of?
Yeah, well, like I got 4, so they're a pretty good team. Like they keep each other occupied. But there is other kids that we connect with as well, different other groups of kids and stuff like that. But it's only new to us, so we've sort of just been doing it mostly ourselves at the moment. But just today, earlier on, we were out in the park just up in nature, and there was another group of kids there, and we were connecting with them. But we sort of I had to come back because we was to get on the call. So I was like, we sort of cut it short. But yeah, I think it's becoming more of a thing.
Yeah.
Like people are starting to realize. I mean, it's not as straightforward as just doing it, but once if you go through the process, you can. Yeah.
Yeah, and also what you said is like being connecting again, because we have been so disconnected, and connecting with our kids is kind of wow, what a gift just that is.
It really is. And like I've got to know my kids so much better, because like life's busy. Like we got a lot going on. And me too. Like I'm busy with work and life, but having this time, we've really got to connect on a whole different level, where we live in is it's pretty like close quarters as well. And I was thinking, oh, because we moved out of a big house on the property, and it was getting renovated, and so we had to move into just like a little granny flat, quite small for the 4 of us. But they love it more. It's more intimate, like so we're spending more time together. It's tighter. It's harder to keep clean and all that sort of thing. But it's like it's a bit of a jumble sometimes, but it's beautiful. Like we're spending much more time together, closer, and everyone's becoming closer. Like we're all getting closer. And yeah, something that like all the things, the schooling to start with, the homeschooling, I was thinking, how am I going to do it? And life showed us a way. Same as with the moving into the smaller environment. I was thinking, oh my goodness, how are we going to do this? All of a sudden, there's a richness to it. Like I've had some of the most enjoyable times of my whole life in this little space, and the kids as well. We'll never forget it. So yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, and you said just bring the question in. So, your life before having kids and now, can if you, because I know that life changed when I have 5 kids, so I know that my life changed completely. Um, can you tell something about your life before having kids and now?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I can. I'm laughing about this one because it's a big contrast, a
It
very,
is.
very big contrast. So it's 10 years now, 11, nearly 11 years since kids. And before that, and nearly 2 decades previous, 15 years previous, my life was organized crime. That was my role. So it was a very different domain. It was destruction, chaos, drugs, like it was wild. And and I lived that. And it was like that's who I was at the time. It wasn't I didn't just live destruction, I was destruction. And it was just madness. And guns, being stabbed, shot, like fights with police officers, tasered, like just crazy stuff. And then and I'd committed to that life. Like the thing is, I'd actually committed to that. And the thing is, I didn't care whether I lived or died or went to jail for the rest of my life. That was the commitment. It was like, all right, well, I'm all in, and that allowed me to fulfill that role at the time that I was playing.
Yeah.
I had to, but I didn't see another way. And then I found out that the day that I found out that my ex-wife now, Hannah, was pregnant with Billy, a switch flipped. A total change in my whole mindset. It was like, firstly, I was like a little kid at Christmas. I was so excited, and then I was like, oh shit, I've got a lot of change to make, and then it was a process. But in that instant, I I was a spark from God, like it was like probably the only thing that could have changed my mindset, and the way the path I was heading in.
Yeah.
And and then it was like all of a sudden I had to care about myself because someone else was going to rely on me.
Yeah.
And for the first time I had a purpose bigger
Yeah.
than myself. And it was
Woo.
like, oh shit. But that was the mindset shift. So from that day on, I never touched drugs again, like personally. I was still deep in the underworld, and I was like, oh well, I know I need to make change, but how? Um, but the day he was born, the day he was born, I held him in my arms. It was just like, oh my God, like this, it was just so beautiful, and something just like it was like, oh, everything's got to change. And from there, the process started, and it was like it wasn't an easy process. It was
No.
what I knew, but I changed, like I changed, and everything shifted, and then it was a journey,
Yeah.
and but yeah, that was before kids, and that the change that kids brought to my life. So, and from there, when I became a father, when I held Billy for the first time, I claimed fatherhood. Like with my whole heart. It was like I'm a dad now, and this is what I'm here for. And when I did that, like when you claim something like that wholeheartedly, like the universe gives you more of it. And so, 4 months after he was born, Hannah fell pregnant with Ted. So they're only 13 months apart. And then not long after Robin, and then yeah, so it was a big change in a short time, and that was my transition from one way of living to a totally different way. And now talking about that, and now I'm here homeschooling them. It's like wow, it's like a lifetime ago, Yeah.
Wow. So so we see that our children, they actually wake us up. They shake us. It's like, look, what are you doing?
Yeah.
So when they come in, I remember I was 19 when I had my first
Wow.
so, and he was a lot sick, so cancer, and it was in hospital. So your life really shake. What are you doing? Because I was all into being the good girl and doing a lot of this thing that we are so stressed, building house, and not that that was wrong, but yeah, we are programmed to do. I didn't do drugs or something like that, but I was very stressful. So
Yes. Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we all do it in different ways, and then it's like you say, the spark that a child brings, and like a different perspective on life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, a different meaning. Like I think that's it. Like when our perspective changes or your values shift, like something in you just changes,
Yeah.
and then then you've got to grow into that still, like, like it's all new, but it's beautiful. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and when you have 4 kids, then you know that they are so completely different. I don't know, but I imagine that you see
Oh,
that they are so
yeah.
different.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. All of them are so unique. Yeah, we all are. We all are,
Yeah, 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 yeah,
aren't
yeah,
we? Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, they're all beautiful and unique in their own ways. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, your story is just yeah, because I'm several people say I don't want to have kids, and when I was teenager, I said I don't want to have kids. I will never have
Yeah.
kids. And why I said it when I was in the teenager, it was that I saw a lot of violence. I saw a lot what you kind of described.
Mm,
It wasn't a good place to be on earth. I experienced that, and I also had
yeah.
suicidal thoughts because I didn't want to be here because I think it was I was highly sensitive and I took in all this
Yeah.
craziness. So I said, why are
Yeah.
people having children in this crazy world? I don't I don't recommend to anyone coming to earth. So I lived with that paradigm. But then I became pregnant and then a shift happened. Something inside of me is living. So that was my shift. It wasn't, yeah, I went
Yeah.
all into doing the best. So I totally shift. But I also have to work with my shadow because I had a lot of shadow and I thought that this world was a crazy thing and I did all that I could to protect them, as we do as parents. So, but it is a
Yeah.
totally shift.
Yeah. Total shift. Absolutely. Yeah.
So I'm so glad what they bring to us or kind of waking us. And as you say, it hasn't been a easy path. It hasn't been. It has been yeah, sickness and challenges. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there's all sorts of challenges. I mean, everyone sort of has their own different unique challenges as well, I guess, along the way. And it's just like, I mean, not at the time, but looking back, you see that some of those challenging moments are the moments we grow the most, like the moments we learn the most
yeah,
about ourselves.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if because you said, "Oh, I'm an open book." So since you said it's like I have 5 kids, but and the 2 first had another biological father, and he was from
Yeah.
Greenland, and the combination of us, it's not. They have had much more health issues, and if you see,
Okay.
if you go to Greenland, if the Inuits and it is a lot of social sickness kind of and yeah,
Right.
I don't know how deep I should, but it is a lot of ancestral stuff that we carry that is deeper. So the 2
I
oldest of
get you.
us
Yeah,
has
yeah.
been so much in and out of hospital. So and that
Oh,
also when the doctor said he had liver cancer and they said we don't know if he will live. So it shakes you. It kind of you yeah.
yeah. I can't even imagine that. Yeah, to hear that or to go through that. Like
Yeah,
that's
that was very
tough.
hard, and he managed it. But when he was 22, he committed suicide, so he doesn't live anymore. So he
Oh
met so
goodness.
much health. He said, "Mother, I have to live with this forever." And I said, "No," because we tried a lot of techniques, and he said, "You have become so alternative because I'm open." And he said,
Yeah.
"No, I will not do." He was highly sensitive as well, and he
Yeah.
was the
Yeah.
one taking care of all his friends. But
Mm,
he being an open book as he also because he was so open, it's hard to be highly sensitive as a man. And
yeah.
when his girlfriend broke up, he was so deep into heartbreak, and then he committed suicide.
Mm,
So
it's
so it the kids is kind of they really lead us into yeah because we follow them and all the because we they are 5 siblings and he was the oldest and all of us was in crisis of course.
of course. Yeah, that's horrible. That's so sad. I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, so yeah, it is amazing having kids, but also it is hard. So
Challenge.
because I didn't want to live when I was a teenager, and my son became, and also his biological father had that issue. So both of us had that issue kind of. So I saw that it is in his line because
There's a pattern, yeah,
yeah,
energetic pattern.
yeah.
Yeah.
So both the two oldest, they had much more sickness. They had denser ancestor pattern, to put it like that, because I see the other three, they don't have it that hard kind of in
Okay.
they have another father, and he cannot understand how it is possible to, because he don't have it like that. So, and I didn't think about that when I was 19 and having kind of kids that, okay, what is your ancestor pattern, so we know that what this kid is carrying.
Yeah. Yeah. No. I mean, you don't sort of think about that sort of thing, do you?
So I have learned so much, and since also two of my kids have been so sick, and also now my oldest daughter, she have a pituitary gland tumor, so has been for almost 2 years going through a very hard time. So
Okay.
working as a therapist, having kids, having family, life, wow, because I talk about, have you heard the term about habitat disease?
About what? Sorry.
Habitat disease. I call it habitat because the habitat we are living in, it is kind of programming us.
Yeah, your environment. Yeah, no, I haven't heard about that, but yeah, share more. Yeah, I'd like to hear. Like to hear what.
Yeah,
But
because
I understand. I think I understand what you mean, though. Like, yeah, your environment is like sort of dictating or shaping.
yeah.
Um,
So because Alexander, when he committed suicide, I started to write my first book, The Health Bible. And it was starting with his life, and I saw that his surroundings also, because we are supposed to thinking, boys are supposed not to be sensible and highly sensitive, and we are supposed to be in certain ways. So our habitat is actually not beneficial. It is not supporting us. So it's 10 years ago I started to talk a lot about habitat disease, and cancer is habitat disease, and habitat is also parent. So what are we carrying? So we are a part. So yeah, this is deep. It is kind of, I like to go deep though in how are we programmed, what are we caring for a mother, father, grandmother, grandfather, ancestor. Yeah.
yeah. Like I mean, patterns repeat. That's like until they're dealt with, Like, and then it's sort of, I think that's like in the work I do, that shows up a lot as well. But you see also too when it's become acknowledged and accepted in a way that it's been able to be processed, it's also too can shift and shift like for everyone.
For
And
everyone.
yeah, and that's the beauty and the magic of doing the work, I think,
Yeah.
like you say.
Yeah.
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 And I see that's like obviously the books you write and the work you're doing is your passion as well there to yeah.
Yeah, because you can read to be a good therapist, but life show you something also. Because for a period when I had the two kids, I had this emergency alarm because someone threatened my life. I don't want to go into that story, but so I was all the time. It's like in alert, alert, alert. And what does that do to a mother and two children? It's like being in alert. So and having and living in surroundings that is not helpful, it's kind of not supporting. So yeah, our son Alexander, he got liver cancer, and liver is kind of it is angry, or it carry anger. Liver carry anger, and being in protective mode kind of.
Yeah, like repressed, like anger that's repressed.
Yeah.
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 So sickness
I've
is,
noticed that too.
yeah, and but the body is actually telling us all the time what surroundings we are living in.
Hmm. Yeah. And I mean, yeah, because the surroundings, if like the culture and the way in which things, people are doing things, I mean, it can dictate or affect us if we're constricted by it.
Yeah.
If we raise beyond it, and not allowing it to dictate our lives, and then we can move beyond that.
Yeah.
Like, but it's not it's not just so easy, because like when we're in a certain system and you're sort of playing a certain role and a certain way, that's just how it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, it's I think in a lot of ways, yeah, sometimes energy dependent, like, because when we can have enough sort of energy to go beyond that,
Yeah.
it's sort of whatever environment we come into, we can take that field with us.
Yeah.
And that can also to influence those around us.
Yeah. Yeah. And also when you're, because it's also what is the parents holding. And I had a very angry father, so I was tipping toe because he was very authoritarian. He was kind of a patriarchy. And that did something with me. And I said, I will never be like my father. But when I was stressed, I had the same pattern as I see in my brother. So we say that, no, we don't want to be like her. If we see the flip side, it's kind of the shadow side, because they are authoritarian, like yelling a lot. He banned and yelled, and I was afraid of him. And I thought, I will never be. So I promised myself, I will never be an angry person. And I lived to almost till I was 42. I really allowed myself to face the anger that lived in me, because I had decided very young I will never be angry, but I needed to go through that anger to put myself free. And I remember the 3 days I was so angry, I shouted, and it was like a bomb inside me that came out. I was alone for this 3 days, but it had to come out to balance it out. But because so anger can be helpful. It's not help. It's not something wrong with anger, but you don't put it on others. But because our father put it on us, he blamed us, and he was angry all the time. So that was my fear. I will never do that to people.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it is kind of, I'm saying it because we as mother and father are holder for our children. And I, as a mother, was not in balance when I had my kids. So I have to just admit that I was not in balance when I had my kids. I did the best I could. I did. And a lot of people said, you really went all the way. You did all for kids. Yes. But the most important thing was I wasn't in balance myself. I hadn't go to the deeper layer.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's a journey, though.
It is
Like,
a
we sort
journey.
of, when you're 19 and you have children, or even when I was 37, but like, I mean, if I'd had children before when I did, I couldn't have even imagined it, but like that life changed, but it was, then I went back into kindergarten, like, really, because it was like, now I'm a father. I don't know what it means to be a father. I'm all in, but how do I do it? You show me, and then you learn, don't you? You learn along the way, and you're always doing the best you can with what you've got. And a lot of the time, like you say, it's, when our energy drops to a certain level, or we're stressed, you say, it's like we run our patterns. They're conditioned. They're embedded. They're wired, and it's either trying to oppose what our parents did, or otherwise it's doing exactly the same, even if we repel it. But it's just that's just how it is at that level. It's just at that level of energy and capacity. That's just the system that we operate. The perspectives that we have, and then we eventually sort of start to be able to develop our own strategies or ways of coping to go beyond that. And over time we get to function more efficiently more often. Sometimes when energy drops, that's how we behave. It still is like, it's like certain perspectives, it's fascinating, because so many perspectives that we have within our field and in our life. And everyone has a certain algorithm, has a certain capacity. And if we're in that perspective, that's its limitation. That's all it has. And so there's no point judging it. There's no point trying to condemn it. It's like, that's that perspective. That's that algorithm, that code that plays this one. So, I can choose another one, but when we're trying to judge and we're getting like judging where we're at, it sort of counteracts that. So we need to sort of like become aware of it, acknowledge it, experience it, and accept it. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, there's something else, and we can see a different possibility. We see different ways, opportunities arise. And it's like, oh, good. But inside that perspective, we can't see that. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Yeah. So we are actually, as family, we are like puzzles. Like when we are talking, it's like
Puzzles.
I see us like puzzle. It's like you hold
Puzzles.
a piece
Yeah.
that learning to. So it is a puzzle that is equal, like a circle, because we have taught so much in hierarchy, just as parent also was on the top. But now family function more like a circle because the kids bring just as much to us as parents as we are supposed to
Yeah.
bring to them.
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely. It is a puzzle. Absolutely it is. Yeah. It is one big puzzle. Yeah.
Yeah, and grandfather and
All the different pieces. Yeah. All the different the differences, but it all comes together. Yeah. And then we're all, I guess, yeah, it all comes from there, doesn't it?
yeah.
Like yeah, it's fascinating, really.
It is fascinating, and yeah, I understand people that say the same as me. I will never put children into art, but at the same time, what they do, they really shake up us. We really, because we live for something that is bigger than ourselves, and the shift from just being ourselves, kind of just it's just me, like it's like yeah, and it is when you experience kind of oh life is so much bigger than me, much bigger. It's a first you go into your family, your kids, and then I have gone into my whole country, my whole world. So now I live at as a bigger purpose.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
and when you live from a bigger purpose and you see that everything is connected, then it's kind of wow, it's an aliveness that comes to your life.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So much more like it's the same as me, like it was just me, and the purpose wasn't big enough. It was just like, well, I'd committed to jail or death, really. Yep, I'm all in there. But it's like as soon as I became a father, the purpose of my system got bigger, and
Yeah.
it's like oh, and then it's got bigger again, like from further than the family. Now then it's the people, the impact, the larger system, the more the world, the universe,
Yes.
everyone's we're adding or taking energy all the time, and it's like there's something they say it's like different parts of a system, and you can change the parts, but if you change the parts of a system, nothing really changes. Like, can you change how they interact, but they just go back to the same. But when you change the purpose of the system, the whole system reorganizes, the whole system changes.
Yeah.
And that's, I think it's systems theory, and it's like, it's so true. And with us, it's like the larger the system, the larger the system of influence, the more capacity you have, also to the more energy you get to distribute that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's so true that yeah.
But since we are into this purpose and kids waking us up, how can we learn this to the younger generation? Because it is a lot like us, kind of just being destructive or just in our ego bubble. How can we teach this earlier so we don't have to go to all this thing we did, kind of? I'm just
Yeah, so I've got a philosophy of mine that
okay. Yeah.
that I use. Like when someone asks me, "What do I do? What do you do? Who are you?" What I say, I'm a student of life. And they say, "Oh, student of life." Oh, well, what's that? And I say, "Well, I see life as the teacher.
Yeah.
Life is the teacher. Our experience is the curriculum. Our environment is the classroom, and we're both students and players in this incredible game." And life is this incredible field of intelligence that's learning from itself, teaching itself, experiencing itself through many expressions of itself, and we're one of them.
Yeah.
And as the student of that, we're aware, we're curious, we're open, we're intrigued, in awe as well. It's not the student sitting down in the classroom; it's the student saying, well, what have you got to teach me? What do I get to learn here? Show me what I get to know in this playground, in this classroom of life. And when we can look at it like that, it's like instead of asking the question, why is this happening to me? We can say, oh, what's life trying to teach me here? What do I get to learn? What do I get to know? And it's so different, like it takes us out of that victim
Yep.
to now all in an exploration mode, exploring what life's shown us, and also to exploring ourselves and how we're interacting with that.
Yeah.
Another element of that, then I look at it like a bit of a triad, and it goes from the player, the the student to the player. And so we're players in this game as well. But if we go in as the player directly without being the student, we go in on the hamster wheel, just into the man's game, not life's game so much. And it's just like we get caught in it. But when we can be the student first, open, curious, aware, self-aware, and then the player, and then we play from there, understanding life as the teacher, this triad interacts. And the other element that comes into that I see is that then we get to start with wow, and the whole thing keeps like playing itself in an amazing game, and we get to be part of that, participate in that, and like a child, curious and open and willing to explore whatever it is that life is showing us. The challenges, the good, the bad, the ugly, they're all there, but it's all part of it. It's all part of how we learn and grow. And looking at it like that, it's a way of taking us out of the victim mode, taking us out of victimhood. Yeah. So that's how I do it anyway.
Yeah, and I perceive life just as you, and both of us have described like being in awe and kind of surprise and wow, what is this? So we being with our kids, kind of wow. I say I love my child archetype. I embrace my child archetype because it is being in awe. It's like oh, wow every day. So and particularly when I'm in nature. So and yeah, I'm fascinated because you are mirroring it back to me what I'm doing and what I have learned also to my kids. So just being, and life is teaching us also what is nature bringing us.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so true. And it's like, I guess the wow is the now. Like we're not in the future, not in the past. We're the wow allows us to be in the now, to be present, the way I see it is too, like we can, because there is wows where we get the wows, little wows. It's like you see something and it's nice, like, oh wow. Then back to your day, like life's busy. All right, and put that aside and go back to my day. But when we can stay there for a prolonged time, it's like it expands. Like everything expands around us, and then we get to be in this space. And the more we sort of connect to that and be in there more often, the more we attune to it. Rather than the default patterns, we can start to connect there a little bit more often. And it is. It's a place of what I call, like, I believe it's a moment where we get to, it's life. It's us connecting to the essence of life as it is.
Yeah.
Like, so life experience in itself, and for a moment we're connecting with that, and it's and yeah, that's my interpretation of it anyway.
Yeah, I love it. And when you talk, I remember yesterday when I was in nature, I had a call. So I connected not to nature because it was when I'm in nature, it's like wow. But I had a wow experience in my phone, and I just had wow because I thought it was a dog coming running, a free dog that have run from his owner. But then it was a fox, a red fox. It comes closer, and I was like, oh, and I was in awe because of this fox. But I was also in the phone, and then it was kind of, I wanted to put down the phone, and I was in, and then he ran away. And when I came home to my family, then my husband started to talk about something, and I had actually a aha in a phone, and then I remembered the fox because it happened when I was in the phone. So if I hadn't been in the phone, this moment would, wow, it was so beautiful. This big red fox. It's like, it's not every day I meet a fox. I meet a lot of animal, but fox not every day.
Yeah, that's cool. Wow.
So so just meeting a fox is like, wow, what is your kids go, oh, what's that red animal?
Yeah, yeah, and anything can be wow. Like we can have
Everything
a
can
wow.
be wow.
We can have a wow in any moment. Like it's just, yeah, when we're, I guess, present enough, like still enough, present enough to connect to it. There's things that we'll always connect to it more so, like that are beautiful, that are intriguing and stuff like that. But in any moment that we're present enough, even with another person in a conversation, there's in that moment of presence, something else comes alive. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And now when you talk with like, if it's okay with you, in a year ahead, when you have homeschooled your kids one more year, then you will have even deeper experience. So I would, if you are up to being interviewed in a year ahead, because I'm sure that you will learn so much, because as I see it, this is the new way of doing it, because it is the circle and we are not above, because you are connected to your kids and you know that you are kind of equal, even though you are the grown up and you kind of have the structure.
Yeah, it's very different, like I've we do see that, and sometimes I've just got to remind myself because we came here. I started to do like some breathing and movement, like some yoga practices with them in the morning,
Ah.
because I teach a bit of yoga and breath work and stuff like that. And so I started to run them through a class. Like I started to do that, and I think it was only a bit like after two classes or something. Teddy, my second oldest, he said, "Oh, Dad, can I run the class tomorrow?" I said, "Yeah, sure, mate, no worries." And then so he came in and he done it, and he just took over the class, and it was like he'd taught for years. I was like, "Oh shit, I don't like, hey, all yours, mate." And then I let it go. And then the next day, Robin taught the class, then Billy, and then Bobby. Then I Bobby 3-3. You were going to help him a bit. So but the class consisted of, it became alive because once they were doing that, it became the movement, the breath, a little would do a story and then a game, and then one would be writing on the board what it was that we were doing, and they just started to do it. It started to come alive, this teaching, and then from there they wanted to teach for the day. So it's like, all right, well, one of them became the teacher for the day. So I haven't done, like, I've just been holding space, really. Like, and sometimes I come in to give a little bit of like direction or to create a container and give a little bit of, curriculum and guidance. But it really comes alive more when when this starts to happen. And I found it fascinating just witnessing it, really. Yeah.
Brett, I just had an aha or an insight or a download, I don't know what to call it, because I will just say it and you do whatever you want with it. But this would really be a bigger purpose for the world. If you, I don't know if yeah, but anyhow, if you can take some videos from you parenting your kids and put it out, because you're into social media, this will blow, this will take off. I know that this will be, I just saw it and I was like, I went emotional, because this can really, this is the news. So if you talk to your kids or your ex-wife also, if you have a good conversation, it's kind of, can we do it just to lift it, how to do it better, even though we don't live together? How can we, because you are holding a piece of the new, because it is a new way of doing it. So I just saw it. It's like I almost went into tears when I saw it. Just as the same when you talk, it's like, wow, this can really be big. What you are doing naturally, this is kind of, this is what the world wants to see. The world wants to see how we do it differently. So you are holding a piece. More and more people are doing it, but you are starting to use camera. So you are getting more and more familiar to kind of record. So if you invite your kids doing, say, shall we do it kind of to showing how we do it? Because this is, we are doing something great here.
Yeah. Like they'll be open to it. I mean, we do film some bits and pieces, but haven't sort of just randomly, like. But I mean, yeah, we can do that. Yeah, they love it. I mean, but yeah, it is beautiful to watch. You're right. Yeah, I think and I do
see
share
this will go viral.
I do share bits and pieces of it. I just started to share some on some stories a little bit early, but yeah, I think I could definitely be a bit more sort of strategic with it and share it, put it out there like in that way, because I think it would be good and beneficial for people to see.
Yeah, just and also this will be in co-creation with your kids, because it's like, okay, can we put this to it? So it's kind of, it will be, you will grow through it. So you are the first. I don't know if you're the first, I don't know, but I haven't heard so many homeschooling that film it and put it out. But if you do it, because this is, we want to do it this way, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great to get them involved, and like you can, I mean, it's another classroom, like because there's a lot of things that go with the filming, the editing, this and that, and like it's another game they can teach me again.
Yep.
So yeah.
Yeah, and you will learn so much just also by filming it, because then it go deeper for you also, because it becomes a process.
Yeah.
And you have to talk about, okay, but I look like that. I don't want to look like that on film. So this brings a depth into the learning process. So I just saw it like, wow, this is really what we are longing for as mother and fathers, to do it the deep way, kind of connecting with our kids and learning, and yeah, wow.
Yeah, beautiful.
So you can share, but that was just, I just saw it, and I saw that how it.
We'll share more. Yeah, for sure.
I loved, because this happened very often in the conversation I had. It's kind of, wow, this is, because I call myself a feel holder, and then it's kind of everything can come up. The shadow side is allowed, but also what is in the field for us, and this is because we get blind in our own life. I'm blind in my life, but if someone kind of say this, what you are holding, this is unique, put it out, because this is wow.
Okay, yeah. Okay, cool. Thank you.
So wow, yeah, I will follow you. Because I know you hold a piece, because I have just written about it, and then you start talking about it. Wow, and that's how life is. It's not a coincidence that we are talking. It is not a coincidence that we are talking.
It's a collaborative field.
Yeah, because you hold it a piece that I just have written about, and it's like, yeah, we will make a talk. You said, and
Yeah. No, things are meant to be, and I think like the more aligned you sort of become with that, the more you become aware of that as well, and the more it starts to happen more often. One thing leads to another, and yeah, it's quite fascinating how life really works. Really, yeah.
and we had no idea what to talk about. It's like, but this unfolded. So this is kind of, yeah, it is a practical example of being in awe, being, wow, what happened on this call. Maybe it will be a shift for your family also. Well, now we will do it more deliberately, so we will put it out so that we can show that it is another way of doing life, kind of.
Yeah, sure.
I love doing this.
No, it's beautiful. Yeah, thanks for having me too. It's nice. I mean, yeah, we barely only just connected, really, didn't we? Yeah, it's like,
Yeah,
yeah,
this is the
I'm
first.
looking forward. I'm looking forward to learn more about you too. Like with all your books and stuff like that. It sounds amazing. I yeah, I actually just had a guy come over and started filming a documentary on me. There's actually a trailer will be out in a couple of weeks, and it's quite fascinating. I never expected there to be a movie or a documentary about me and my life, but it's like fascinating how things come together. I was at a speaking event in Bali at the start of the year, and he was doing the filming, and he heard my story, and he says, "Oh, I'd like to connect at some stage when I'm free, if you are." And I said, "Oh, yeah, all right." And then one thing led to another, and he came over, and it was when my sister was over here from the other side of the country too, and he interviewed her, and yeah, just things started to unfold. So it's like there's amazing things sort of happening there, and
Yeah, because it is in your field. Because your field is like, yeah, you did a documentary. That's why I kind of mirrored it back. It's in your field, so it has already started. So what I told you, you are already into it.
yeah, oh, I guess, yeah, in a way. So, but yeah, I guess, yeah.
So it will be, yeah, yeah, it will be so amazing to follow you, because I know that a lot of good things will kind of come out of where you are.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's. I think it's like it seems like a just another phase, like life goes in phases and seasons and cycles, like everything, and it feels like that now. It's a different. I think obviously from one way of living to fatherhood to going through a personal development sort of journey and spiritual journey in fascinating ways. Now to more of a sort of a leadership role in some different ways with the kids and just different things just happening, and it's fascinating. But yeah, it's a different phase, and I feel that even just in the last few days. Um, but yeah, when the trailer comes out, I'll share it with you and see what you think about that. Yeah.
Yeah. And this will be a podcast, and there will be a lot of recording. But you will also start recording because we met in a social media program. So that's where we met.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. So and that's all new. Like I mean, I've done social media like on and off for years, like but never really consistently. But it's like that. This next phase is screaming for that. And it's like, all right, well, how do I optimize this now? It's time to, no, like not from a place of look at me, I want to be, it's just like, all right, well, you need to be seen to be able to stand up and share what you're here to do, and it's time. So that's sort of the stage that we're at. So that's how I got involved with the social media mastery, and I guess I haven't been as involved as I'd like to be, but learning some things from it, and just wanting to, yeah, find a way to be able to connect more, share better, and to be able to, I guess, connect to a larger audience, so the message can get out there more.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm sure
Yeah.
me and you and all the people that met that, we felt that, okay, it is something in the field that is calling us to kind of collaborate in it is a bigger purpose.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I definitely. Yeah, there's a much bigger purpose.
I
There's
didn't want,
something.
yeah,
Sorry.
something.
Oh no, I just said like that. There's something bigger at play. Yeah.
Yeah. And actually, I didn't want to take this course. I was so guided. It was like, you need to take it. So the personal Ann-Peggy didn't, it's like, oh, I don't have time because I was into books and I didn't see that I had time. But the guidance was so, but you have to do it. You have to, okay. So I kind of surrendered to it because it was in English and I didn't have time. So I found all the reason not to do it. But I'm so glad.
Yeah, I was the same. Like really like the same. Like it was just like, oh, it's not something that really sort of interests me. Like or otherwise it was just like I just thought just that it's another program of
Yeah.
social media. Like I've done other programs before, and then I didn't like what. I just no, I'm doing it my way. I'm not listening to this shit, like that. But then it was the same sort of thing. It was like no, it's time, and I did it, and I've got plenty from it, even though I haven't been as involved as I'd like to be. Just there's just the busyness of life, so I'm just getting out of it what I can, and it's still. Well, like I mean, a month ago, I'd only just started up an Instagram account and I had 16 followers, and now there's over 1,000, in a month, and which is not huge, but like it's growing, like, and I think what's the other one? TikTok. Yeah, I just opened that up. I didn't have anything like, and there's the same. So it's a bit of a process and just learning along the way. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, Brett, I love talking to you. I love this conversation. I knew it because before I went into it, it's like, wow, this will be an amazing episode. I just knew it. I went into the field, there's feeling, and I didn't know what it would come, but it feels like yes, because this was an important episode. I think that all are, but because you're holding a piece of the new way of doing it with kids and how to do it in more circle, as I call it, instead of a triangle one on the top, because we are co-creating and life is showing us all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Can't agree more.
So thank you so very much,
Thank
Brett.
you. Thank you. Yeah, much love. Thanks for having me.
As a quiet extension of what I'm sharing here, you may have heard me speak about the architecture series. These books are now available for those who feel ready to go deeper. the architecture of light, the architecture of future medicine, the architecture of the living ethos, the architecture of peace, the architecture of karma, the architecture of sisterhood. Alongside these, 2 trilogy volumes brings the series together. The Architecture of Life, Trilogy 1, and The Architecture of Humanity, Trilogy 2. Each book explores a different aspect of how life organizes itself when survival patterns are no longer in control, and a new architecture begins to emerge. If you feel resonance, you can find them on Lulu and on my websites, divinedesign.it and Ann-Peggy.divine.com. Thank you for listening to the Divine Design Podcast with Ann-Peggy Divine. Join us next Sunday for another Heaven on Earth unfolding conversation. With grace, reverence, and unity, may the path of your divine design light the way. From the divine in us to the divine in you.